I knew it. I knew it. I knew that if I was gonna do a video on Iran, I would find something so unexpected that I'm gonna have to do a video on that. And I knew that was gonna happen. Well, let's get to it. And, I don't use the word conspiracy ever. I don't use that word. I don't like that word. But this is something. I mean, so remember when I was talking about Maverick in Arizona and everything? I get Google. So we were looking into this. Where is... I didn't even do a full analysis in my last video at the end. Not reserved. So I said that the deposits were located in Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. But look at this. Why can't I spell this right? I said, where is Maverick's oil deposits located? So, the Permian Basin, West Texas, and New Mexico, Oklahoma and Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. And then it says it also holds assets in the Rockies, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, and Florida. I also read that it was also in California. Also operates in Illinois, Illinois and Indiana. So it doesn't just look like they're a monopoly in Arizona as a gas station. It looks like they're a monopoly in the United States, doing all the United. I've never heard of this. So they own. I would imagine they own a majority, if not all of the majority, of the United States oil deposits. I would have never known this if I didn't live in Arizona. It says Maverick's producing and non-producing crude oil and natural gas reserves are located in the following 7 producing areas. So it says the Permian Basin, the world's largest shale oil producing region, consists of producing oil fields in West Texas and New Mexico. Yet they're charging $5, $2 to $3 more. Some places $3 more on the Iranian supply narrative. So that's a tax. And this Maverick doesn't even, their monopoly in gas stations and this, and they can charge their original price, but because of the nationality and United States perception, they can get away with charging an extra $2 or $3. And no one's questioning this. Nobody. And I thought it was just Arizona, which is pretty bad for Arizona because it's very independent. Arizona doesn't have time zone changes, and they're very independent from the United States. But here, they're going along with the same thinking and the same narrative as the rest of the country. And the conservatives, you would think that they would know this, but they don't. I haven't heard. Is this like like this ain't even showing up in the news. There's nothing about. Okay, this is so. I know that Maverick is. Let's go ahead and do that. So Maverick is headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's interesting that when I say Maverick, it really knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's an independent fuel marketer. Transportation in Arkansas, Maverick in Florida, Maverick Air Center, Sioux. So these are different things, but they could be the same thing. Coming serves the Intermountain West region with over 800 locations and recently required Come and Go. That's a very bad name, by the way. um, Intermountain West. Um, so they do their own oil and gas. I'd imagine they are just they're the same. Something tells me if this is true and no one's questioning it, it tells me that Maverick is not a is not on the stock market, because if it was on the stock market, then this would be public information. This would be in their prospectus, the letters. When you first invest in a company, you look at what the company is about. You look at what they own, their assets. You look at all that stuff. So this tells me that they probably most likely are not on the stock market. Oh, it is on the stock market, but it's on the pink. On the It is a micro cap oil and gas exploration company. The pink market, that's over the counter. That's what the OTC. It's over the counter pink market. Yeah, there's not very many. Um, it's not mainstream on the stock market. OTC markets pink limited. So do they own? Do they own those gas stations? I'd imagine they probably do. Maybe not. Well, how they're probably doing it is, if they are doing that, then they're using a so Maverick, the gas and oil exploration will be one, but then they own another. They have a company on the side that is not on their what's it called, in their assets, but it's funnel money somewhere else. It's like a shell company, and then they use that company to put their gas into, and then they build it up. So they're working together. I have the feeling that's probably the situation we're looking at. Now this is interesting. It says, note that a similarly named company, Maverick Oil and Gas Incorporated, became defunct in 2014. So there's different Mavericks and gas. Are they all the same thing? I don't know. This is a little above my pay grade. Um, so let's read this. Maverick, the convenience store chain, is owned by FJ Management, a family-owned holding company with deep roots in Utah, related to the founding Call family. What's that? Call family. Call family. I don't know what that means, guys. Call family. Who is that? I don't know. Um, I don't know. And while its leadership's specific religious affiliations are publicized, its strong Utah ties and history connected to the predominant Mormon culture in the region, with some sources suggesting Mormon connections in its founding, though it operates as a secular business. Maverick is family owned and operated by FJ Management, the holding company that also owns Flying J. So it's Flying J Management. The company was founded by Real Call, and who was that? In Wyoming. So it says, so this sounds like the same person. He was born in Afton, Wyoming. He's the founder of the Tall Air Airplane Factory. So they built airplanes. And it looks like right here, January 29th, 19, graduated Star Valley High School there. Received flying instruction from Vernon. So it has that airplane thing. And then it says a 1920-year-old opened a two-pump gas station in Afton, which is the same name, Wyoming. He founded the venture with money he had earned. So it sounds like there's a lot going on here. All right. With current leadership linked to the Call family and FJ Management based in Salt Lake City. I'd imagine that. So we have 300 million people who don't know this. And we have conservatives that say they want to take control of the Senate and all this and think of it politically. But this is happening right under their noses and they don't even see it and no one's talking about this. And we're all being charged $5 a gallon. If this is can we figure that out? It probably won't be the same company, but we can read in between the lines that they're using a shell company and then they're shipping it to Maverick. I don't know how you would even Google that. You would have to read the right prospectus of the assets but I'm going to assume, based on how this already looks to me, that they're going to be the same. They're operating together, even though they're not legally or financially able to be tracked to each other. I would assume that they are. So maybe that's why no one's caught in Arizona. Maybe no one. I mean, does that mean that everyone is dumb? Maybe. I mean, it's also happening around the United States as well. But it's so like that. And here's the thing about this. If we Google what does Maverick mean, it says a Maverick is an independent-minded person who defies conventions, rules, or traditions to blaze their own trail, often described as a lone wolf, rebel, or unorthodox thinker. They act independently rather than following the group. The term originated in the 19th century to describe unbred cattle. That's ironic That's extremely ironic. If it's independently minded and not following the group, yet you charge $5, the same price as everyone else is charged, based on the same exact thinking of why everyone else charges and pays $5 a gallon. I just feel like that's pretty much, that's up there with someone sending a message here that says the Americans are stupid. At least a conservative. It's a message that says the conservatives are stupid. They're not paying attention. They don't know how the country works. They don't know how the states work. And this is happening right underneath their noses. And they're focused on the politics, which is pretty much a distraction, but look at what we're looking at here. I mean, it's in the definition. Individualist, nonconformist, rogue, independent. A Texas lawyer, politician whose cattle were famously left unbranded. So it was about cattle that were not branded, but yet the people who say $5 a gallon are the ones branded, if you will, and they don't see this. So they're using that against you, and they're making money off of it, which makes you think. I mean, that's so, because that ties to Iran. If Iran ever had a problem, then Maverick could use this as leverage to continue to make the same amount of money, if not more money, than Iran gas supplies would. So who's benefiting from this? It has, I mean, come on. They're really, if that's a conspiracy and that's the operation, dude, that's the biggest, that's a game so big that's against 300 million people in the United States, and not one, well, except me, catches on to this. It's so ironic in the name. It's the irony that gets me. Maverick, an unorthodox or independent-minded person. Unbranded calf or yearling. This is so ironic. You can't get any more ironic than that. They are people who blaze their own trail, challenge conventions, and aren't afraid to break from groupthink in business, politics, or creative fields. But that's exactly what's going on, and everyone's falling for it. Like, that's crazy. Dude, that's crazy. Everyone's so... It's ironic. It's also ironic in another way, because conservatives and Democrats are looking at gas prices and everything. They look at the politics and say we're so divided, but what brings them together are the gas prices of $5 a gallon. It's so ironic. Dude, if that's intentional, that's the biggest game I've ever seen played against an entire population. That's beyond me. I mean, that's a little bit above my pay grade, but I mean, everyone who's watching my videos, myself included, everyone watching my videos, and people who aren't sure about what's going on, and then they saw the Iran thing, and there might be people watching this who noticed this too, and then now they're watching me, and we're all Mavericks together. All group of Mavericks, which then we become the group. But then we know what's going on in the background. I'm just reading through this. Um, but yeah, that's so ironic. And there's so many names of Mavericks. I mean, who knows? They might own all of them. You know, um, but the way it looks, gas station Maverick, the gas station, the gas pumps are called Maverick. There's gotta be some connection there. Even if we can't find one legally, if we can't find one, we just gotta look between the lines, because that's what I think is going on. They are in the stock market, but it's on the OTC, which isn't. People can act well. I don't know if everyone can access it. You might need special permissions to do that through a trading company. I used to trade OTC, but there's fees associated with it, and the liquidity is low. So yeah, it's not something everyone would just know about. So yeah, that's so. I like this. I gotta click on this because this caught my attention. Um, it says an unbranded range animal. So basically, you're saying that Democrats, Republicans, liberals, and conservatives are all branded range animals. I mean, I mean, I want to argue with that. I want to argue with that. But you know, it's so interesting, so interesting. And I knew that if I looked at Iran, I knew I would find something unexpected. And I didn't even try, guys. I didn't even try. We happen to have a Maverick down the street. I've seen them everywhere in Arizona. And I probably wouldn't even make this video, because the only reason I made this video was because someone was on the phone and they talked about how Maverick had higher gas prices, which didn't make sense. And I rant because conservatives don't believe that gas prices should be up at any time, because we just got Venezuelan oil. And we shouldn't have anything to do with Iran because it's heavy crude. They were like, it doesn't make sense that our gas price would be the same. But they didn't look deep enough into this. And that's why I made the video. I wasn't expecting that, really. It just, something I wanted to check yesterday, I forgot to check it. And I managed to mention the video that I did last, and then this one. And then as I was off the video, I started looking into it, talking to people. And people were like, yeah, I should make another video on that. So yeah, it's... You know, it speaks for itself, really. So, there you go, guys. So, I'll end it here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.